everybody, it's Lynn. Welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really simple little bracelet like this, but instead of using the hex beads, I'm going to use some little DiscDuo beads. Just going to substitute that just because I think the color goes better than the hex beads. All I have in hex beads is gold. So we're going to substitute that, and like I said, this is very simple, very easy for all the beginners as far as bead weaving goes. So I'm going to show you what all I'm going to use. Okay, let's see. We're going to use these little DiscDuos. They're a little 2-hole bead, just like our hex beads. We're going to, of course, use our Ginko beads. Going to use some 15-0 seed beads and some 4mm rounds. Now these happen to be glass pearls, but any 4mm round would work. I haven't tried it with a bicone, but that would probably work also. I'm going to use 6-pound FireLine, and I personally use size 12 beading needles most of the time, just because you don't have to worry about, you know, something not fitting. So I've strung on as much length as I'm comfortable with to do that, and I've left myself about almost a 12-inch tail, because I want to add the clasp on with that tail. And then I have chosen this clasp. It's a fold over magnetic clasp, and I get these from Fire Mountain Gems, and they have a pretty good variety as far as metal colors and crystal colors. So, you know, you can go there and look for these if you want to. Like I said, they're a 2-hole bead, like so. And I'll show you how I attach these. Okay? All right, well, let's get started. Just for ease of picking them up, I'm going to pour my beads out on my beading mat. Just easier for me. You do it however you're comfortable with. It's not going to take all of these beads, y'all. And the number of beads that you use will depend on the length of bracelet that you want. After we get this one put together, we'll look and see just how many we used. Okay, and I like about a 7.5-inch bracelet, so you know, you can decide what you want as you're, you know, putting it together. So the first thing I'm going to do is start out with these little Ginko beads. I'm going to lay them like this just for ease of putting them together. I'm going to pull my camera down just a little bit, just hopefully to get you a good close-up of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first Ginko bead on in the right hand hole. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up 2 15-0s. You they're so small, aren't they? Goodness. Okay, then I'm going to pick up one of my 4mm rounds and string that on. I think I've got a clogged hole. Now you can put a stop bead on or whatever you're used to working with. I just put this little clip on there like so. Okay, now at this point we're going to pick up 2 more 15-0s, and the Ginko go in this direction. And I'll show you what we have. And this is what we have so far. You have to flip that little guy over. They'll flip back and forth on you. Okay, now I'm going to pick up 3 15-0s, a DiscDuo going through the right hand hole as well. Now these, you know, depending on the color you use, depends on if you have to have it holding a certain way or whatever. So I pull that down. Then I'm going to pick up 3 more 15-0s, and I'm going to start all over again. So I'll pick up a Ginko bead going in this direction, oh come on FireLine, don't do this on me. Y'all have problems with your FireLine getting caught. If there's a problem to be had, I can figure out a way to have it, I'll tell you. Okay, 2 15-0s, a 4mm, 2 15-0s, and another Ginko bead, so that they sit like this. Okay, then pick up 3 15-0s, well, come here you little guy. My glasses, maybe I could see. Okay, 3 of those. Then I'm going to pick up another DiscDuo, three 15-0s, and start the same sequence over and over. And you'll do that until you get to the length that you want. And then what we do is we turn around and come back down the other direction. But anyway, while I'm up at this end, I'm going to put the clasp on. So go ahead and make this whatever length you need, and then I'll come back and show you how to put the clasp on. Okay? All right, I'll be back soon. Okay, everybody, I've got mine to the length that I want it, and I actually wanted 6.5 inches because I like a 7.5 inch bracelet, and my clasp is about 1 inch. So here's what we do at this point. Now, at this point, I have used 14 Ginko beads. I've used 7 pearls and 6 DiscDuos. Now, on the return, we're only going to use 15-0s and the 4mm. So the 4mm, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll need 7 more of our 4mm, and then of course our 15-0s, because we already have our 2 whole beads in place, and we're just going to do the, just fill in just like this side on the other side. But before we do that, we're going to put our clasp on. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to put like maybe 2 15-0s. I'm going to go through one side of my clasp like so, pull that down, and I'm on the wrong side, so let me come back out of there. Depending on what kind of clasp you're using, you got to be careful about that you get things on the right side. So I need to go in this hole like so, come up through the clasp, double check it one more time. That looks good. So now I'm going to go down through the other side of the clasp, pick up 2 15-0s, and go down the other side of this Ginko bead. Okay, like that. Let's pull this on down snug without tangling it. I probably have too much thread on here, but I hate to change or have to add thread. I'm a little bit lazy when it comes to that. Sometimes you have no choice, but I didn't want to. And what I'm going to do, just to make this feel a little bit more secure, is I'm going to go ahead and put my pearls in here. So, or my pearl, not plural. I'll pick up 2 15-0s, a 4mm, two more 15-0s, go through this side of this Ginko bead, like so. Pull that down. And then I'm going to just jump over to the other side of this Ginko bead that I just came out and go through all of these beads again. So through the Ginko, through the pearl or 4mm, through the next two 15-0s and the next Ginko bead, through the other two and up through our clasp, like so. And depending on what kind of clasp you decide to use, you know, you may not have to do all this. I'm just doing the extra beads because I want it to really feel secure. And I didn't want to do it just with just one of the Ginko beads. I thought it needed just a little more structure than that. So come out the other side of the clasp. And of course, if you're using like a toggle clasp or something else like that, you can make a loop through your end and use a jump ring and attach your clasp to it if you want to. Just depends on what kind of clasp you're using. I am so hooked on these clasps because they're easy for people to get on and off. To me, like a lobster claw on a bracelet is very difficult to deal with, so I don't normally put them there. And I'm going to do this one more time so that I have 3 passes through my clasp. Just go around again, all the way through that first set of Ginko beads, up through this one and our two 15-0s. Okay, through our clasp once more. I hope y'all can follow what I'm doing. And then back down this side. And that gives 3 passes through that clasp, and I think that's probably just fine. And back down to where we finished off. Okay. Alright, now we're coming out this Ginko bead here. So we're going to mirror what's on the other side, basically. Let's see. Alright, well, those are turned wrong, but that's alright. We'll just continue anyway. You have to watch stuff like that. I tell you, I'm the world's worst about it. So I'm going to pick up my 3 15-0s. I'm going to go through the other side of that DiscDuo. Pick up 3 more. Oh, no, it's okay. I just had it upside down. That was what's wrong with it. Pick up 3 more 15-0s and go through this Ginko bead. Now we're going to pick up 2 15-0s. A 4mm. 2 more 15-0s. And through our next Ginko bead. Pull him through, like so. And just do this all the way down. Just mirror what's on the other side. Okay? And I'll be back when I get the rest of mine done and finish up with you. So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, everybody, I've finished up here, and what I did was I went ahead and sewed in my tail thread because I have so much working thread left, so I just decided to use that working thread to finish up. So now what I'm going to do is make sure that I get my clasp going in the right direction. Okay, so I'm going to work it from the back. I'm going to pick up the 2 15/0s like I did on the other end. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure that this is going to be right. So I'm going to come up, I'm going to go down through this side of my clasp, and I'm going to just check it to make sure it's not twisted, and it looks right to me. And then we'll just go down through the other hole of the clasp, pick up our 2 15/0s, and do this just the same way that we did on the other end. Okay, we'll go through the other side of that Ginko bead and down to coming out the last, or the, the same side of the next Ginko bead. I know that's hard to see, y'all. It's just so little, but I'm trying to get it in frame for you. Right here. So that's one pass, and we want, let's make sure. Yep, we're good. We want 3 passes, so that's one. So we're just going to jump over to the other side of that same Ginko bead and go all the way through all of this once more. Actually, twice more. Just stay patient, because with these projects that have these teeny tiny little beads, it's a little bit of a challenge, but I have 3 beads there. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab my pliers, because that will make the clasp crooked, and I don't want that. So I'm going to grab a pair of needle nose pliers and just break one of those 15/0s. That's the easy way. Okay, now I just got to get that nice and tight. Okay, there we go. So mistakes happen, and the more remedies you know, the easier it is. And I honestly think this is a wonderful project for somebody that's just starting out doing a little bead weaving, because it's very repetitive, and repetitive projects are some of the easiest to do. Okay, we're up through the clasp now, and we're going to go one more time before we tie our thread off. So go back down through all the beads. And maybe this is a little bit of overkill, but I would rather have it really secure than have it loosen up, or you don't want to lose a bead, or if you give it to somebody or sell it, you certainly don't want it to come apart. So I'm probably going to be putting this on my website for sale on Etsy, so I want to make sure it is well secured. I've got to take time and post some stuff on Etsy. It's down to nearly nothing in there, but I love having the site, but my goodness, y'all, I'm not the best photographer, and getting nice pictures is always a challenge for me. All right, come on. Okay, now I'm just gonna put some half-hitch knots in it. So I'm gonna go back down this side, just going out the clasp, and I'm going to put a half-hitch knot right there. And to do that, you just go under your thread bridge and through the loop and pull tight. I'm going to go down a couple of beads and do that again. So right there before that first Ginko bead, I'm going to put another half hitch, going under the thread bridge, making sure your thread stays right there, back through the loop and pull tight. That's 2. I usually do 3. So we'll do one more. Okay. So I'm at this pearl. I'm going to go under the thread bridge right here, making sure my thread is in that space between the beads, and pull tight. Okay. Oops. Well, that's tight enough. I think I've got, there we go. Now what I like to do, if I can, is just to go through a few more beads just to get away from that last knot before I cut my thread. And that's fine right there. Okay, and we have our cute bracelet. Look at that. There it is. Those beads really kind of blur it, don't they? But I also wanted to mention to you that, if you didn't have DiscDuos or, exactly the same beads that I'm using, you could substitute just about any 2-hole bead right here. You would just have to adjust maybe the number of 15-ohs that you use. You could definitely use like a ruler bead or I think they're called storm duos. You could use those. I mean, pretty much any bead would be appropriate there. So anyway, all right, you guys, well, that's our project for today, and I'm hoping that I get a shipment from Bargain Bead Box today, because it's going to include that companion bundle that goes with the June Bargain Bead Box. There are some beads in there that I really want to use. I just fell head over heels for that companion bundle, so I ordered it as soon as it became available. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Remember to take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next video, okay? All right, bye-bye.